Hey everyone, so I hope this is clear for all. Just a minute. Okay, so okay, just give a minute. Okay, so I think my bandwidth is too low right now, so that is why the bad weather. So that is why I'm not opening my videos too. Okay, so instead I just go with the audios only, and also the bad background right now. Okay, so I need to set up that too. Okay, so I think my bandwidth is right now okay. So if you face any audio disturbance, then you can just give a comment here. I will check it and I will correct it later after. Okay, so yeah, so we wait for few more minute and then we just started. So it is a long way, right? So we have a gap in between. A day gap is that. So I just give a quick recall for you and like what all other things we have discussed, and we just move on to the concept that we going to learn. So I look into it that we covered most of the topics, like whatever the topic I promised to say in JavaScript, we have covered that. So like we have covered the classes, we have covered all the ES6, that all ES6 concepts very useful when you are working with the React JS and all. So it is going to be very useful in that cases. So we have covered about some of the ES10 features and all. So we covered that. So only few are left, like other topics left means we're going to see about what is functional constructor. We have other like what is this keyword, and we going to have what is prototypes, hoisting, closures. Hoisting and closures are very um, like easy topic and hard to understand but easy to explain. So that is we're going to see these topics are still left. So today what we're going to see means going to kind of work with the JavaScript object construct and also the this keyword. And if we have time, like we go for the immediate evoking functions also. We complete that, and to complete the prototypes and closures and hoisting. Like hoisting, we have time, like we can done with today also, right? So before getting in action, like most of the peoples are messaged me in LinkedIn, and I just get a response from them. So like I just want to give a request for all those students who had messaged me. I'm replied for everyone. Like I think around 4 people has been replied to me. But few people sending me the screenshot of you asking me how to clear these doubts in LinkedIn. So practically that is not possible. Like if you have any doubts, and if you want to clear your general doubts, and if you have any guidelines, I'm not able to debug your code, and I'm not able to work on your projects. And okay, so keep on that. Okay, so keep eyes on that. That is my humble request for you. Okay, so also again, like this is going to be an OT section, then you just ping it on LinkedIn and post it on LinkedIn and give a tag for TWD team, and we will be there to work. So sure, we just get started. So first thing what we're going to see is we're just going to see about the functional constructor. Okay, the topic will be very easy for you, because why means we already teach about like what is classes and what all are, how it is going to be work and everything have already taught, right? So in the previous class itself we have completed, right? So this functional constructor, it's like an exact the class is going to do, but the class is going to be a little bit upgrade version of this functional constructor. Instead of using functions, we are using class. That's going to be a little bit advanced, and this are pretty old thing to create a blueprint for an object, and it is very in get understanding with the this keyword. So that is the main, like we are giving a recall for this one. Okay, yeah, we can move that. Just a minute. Okay, so we can move on for that. And also that like those who have filled the last previous class 2 attendance form, today is also going to be an attendance form is going to be shared, and it is mandatory to fill to get the certificate for all the upcoming days. So okay, today and tomorrow it's you need to fill that to get us. Okay, so that's it. So we can go for the functional constructor. So for creating a functional constructor, first you need to know like what is functional constructor. So functional constructor or thing like it is, I say like it's same like class. It is a blueprint for creating object. Okay, so in our code, like we are working with creating mini project, mini objects, and but when we are working with some of the huge things, like some of the huge product things, then we need to have a copy of those objects, and we need a blueprint to create those objects. Okay, so for that we are using function constructor. So this is an easy way to create a project replica, like object replica. So that is what we are using. Okay, so first we go with the syntax. So for creating a blueprint object, you need to call, this is going to be a functional constructor, the name itself. So we're going to have a function, keyword, like we're going to have a function keyword, and you need to name that function. So here it's a small difference, like it is always recommended to give capital letter for the function constructor if you are doing that. For example, I'm giving P for naming person. Okay, so this is our blueprint for it, and inside that, whatever the parameter you need to pass, we can pass the parameter, and here it is going to be defining the properties and defining the methods and all, everything here it's going to be here. So like how can I define a things, like whatever the property you need, like you name it here as a parameter. Like for example, I need the first name of and I need an last name of a person, and I need age of a person, and I need experience of the person. I just say experience. Okay, so these four things I need. How can I create that? Means I can use this keyword. I know that you are not familiar with this keyword, like we also use this keyword in the object itself, right? So there I mentioned that in an object, this refers to an object, right? So that is what I mentioned. Today we're going to about this keyword a little bit deep, because it is easy to understand but hard to stick with that. We can use that. So right now, what is this keyword representing here is, here it doesn't representing right now. Okay, so when we create an object, that this is going to represent that object. Okay, so it is going to be changed dynamically object we are creating it. So that is what we're going to see. Like for example, I say if someone call this dot first name, if someone called this dot first name, you need to send the answer, sorry, f name. So which is the value we are getting. And the same like that, we need to create a constructor for everything. Okay, so I'm going to create the constructor for everything. I'm just going to copy and I paste. Okay, instead of first name, here we can give someone call for the last name. Okay, and we can use real name. Someone call for the age, and we can use the age of the person. The same like how the class we have worked with, the same like that. This is also, this is an below version of class. Okay, so class is going to be the version, is going to be XP. Okay, so what I'm saying, like this is going to represent that object that's going to create. Okay, so that it's going to be created now. This is going to be dynamically. If someone calls the object with the first name, then you need to send this, you need to get the parameter value first name as your first name, and you need to display it. Okay, so this is going to blueprint. I will explain right now. You need to understand, like here this does not have any value. It is just an we can say substitute for a new object that is going to be created. Okay, it is going to be the substitute for new object that is going to be created. So okay, like we can see that. So how we use the class, and we use the constructor operator for creating the properties, and we use a separate method to create a method. The same in functional constructor, we use a function, and we directly use this keyword here, and this is going to represent a new object, and here we pass the parameter, and this is going to get a value, and that is get used inside that. Okay, so here we're going to create that. For example, I just say const we can say person 1 equal to person 1 equal to, so I need to use that. So I just say new, this is new object, is new keyword is going to like what we can say, like the object of the same function that we need to call, that we can use this new keyword, like it's going to represent an object only. Okay, so I just say object, oh not object, we need to call which object we have created. So the object blueprint we have created is the person. So inside the person you can pause whatever the value like you have, you can pause that. For example, for the order is very important here. The order only get the value. Okay, so here I just going to pause the name, first name as Hari, and the second name as L name, the second name as L name, and the third name as age. Okay, for the age I need to give the age, and for the experience I just going to give 3. Okay, something like this. Okay, so a person data. And what I going to do, I just going to console log and I check this. I just say console.log. Okay, so whether an object is created or not, I just say post1. Okay, so I just run this. You can see an object is created with the age, experience, and last name and L name. If I want to create another object based on the same blueprint, okay, so here we can just copy it, we can rename that to person2, and here we can rename this as Rahul. Okay, so here okay, so I just give L name as L name. Okay, weird thing. Okay, that's all. Okay, so here we can say Kumar, and he has 20 like 9, something like that. And if I just log into person2, we call the person2, you can see the person2 is created with those same blueprint. Okay, the exact same thing what the object does. Okay, more time explain. Yeah, of course, sure, no problem with that. Like it's like a blueprint. Okay, so like if I create an object, okay, so I want to create an object, I need to create every time, right? So if I want to create an object for person1, what I need to say, I need to create a person1, and I need to say name is equal to Hari, second name is equal to Sat and age, like that. And I need to create another object, and there also I need to repeat the same thing, like first name is equal to Rahul, name is equal to Kumar, and third name is equal to 29, so much of thing, right? So that's why we need to repeat it. But here we have this functional constructor. So what the functional constructor is also about, like if you want to create an object based on their with like the object is going to have a similar properties like structure, then we can create a blueprint. Okay, so the blueprint is like same thing, like for example, if you have the blueprint of Taj Mahal, you can able to create the own Taj Mahal, right? So your own Taj Mahal, if you have that blueprint. So if you have the blueprint of Delhi Gate, Mumbai Gate, any Indian Gate, like you can create your own such a thing, right? So you can able to create that same like that. This is going to be a blueprint for that, and we can use this blueprint to create multiple objects. Like we can able to, like you can see all the age, experience, and first name, last name, it's going to be same for this object and this object. So why I want to create for everything? So instead of that, I can use the function, and here there is only one condition. It is recommended way to give, like you need to pass the first value as capital, and here it is going to be the parameter. So what is the parameter? So the function is always like we give parameter. Why? It's declared it in a like a variable, like we can use it inside it. Okay, so this parameters is going to have a value that when that particular function is get executed. And here right, so here right now this is not representing a function, it does not representing here. So here what this represent means, it is a substitute for the object created, new object created. So what is the object? We have person1, it is going to be an object. Person2, it is going to be an object. So this is going to be the substitute for that. This keyword is going to be the substitute for it, and we're going to see about this keyword a little bit depth in the class itself. Okay, so this keyword right now, if I call the person1, then this represent the person1. If someone calls this dot last name, then it's going to return the last name of person, which it gets from the parameter that is be sending as an argument here, right? So right now Hari is go inside the first name, and Prasad is go inside the last name. Just go here, experiences go here, and everything assigned to it. So if I say person1 dot last name, so what is this what is it substitute for? It's substitute for all the new object created. So if I say person1 dot last name. So then this will be the exact thing. So what we are assigned into it, we are assigned into the Prasad, right? So Prasad is going to be displayed. If I click, if I run, it shows me. Okay, so I just made a mistake here. I need to give it in a caps because it is a case sensitive. If I run this, you can see Prasad is going to be display here. Okay, so likewise we create a multiple number of object whatever we want. Okay, so this is how you can create more number of objects. So you can think like, okay, so I need to create like that, but just think about that you have that object has like tons of properties. Okay, so it have so much properties and you need to replicate that. Okay, then every time you just want to copy paste it or you need to recreate from the scratch, it is not a great way in a field like coding. So you can use this blueprint and you can create that replica as soon as possible. Okay, so this is all that for what constructor function. And you have a doubt like how can I add a method to it, right? So you can ask like how can I add a method to it and how we can use that method inside like that. You can add that. For example, if I want to add a property to this constructor function, if I want to add a property to that constructor function, how can we add that? Means we can just uh, like so for example, if I for object, if I just create an const and I just say obj going to be the object, and here I just say lname equal to and something like that. Why I'm giving lname I don't know. Okay, so something like that, and inside this object if I want to add something. Okay, so thing. Okay, so and I just have age and this is going to be 22. So inside this object if I something, okay, here how can I say console.log, and here I can say obj. Okay, so if I save it and run this, you can see you can just don't consider this log, you can just consider this one object. We have age and name. So inside this is manually. So inside this, if I need to add a property, how can I add? So I can simply say I need to call that object and I just give dot and whatever the you need to add. For example, I need to add the experience of a person. Simply say that, and here I just say he have a 17 years of experience. So I just use 17. So right now, if I run this code, clear it and run this code, you can notice that the experiences get added to it, right? So this is a common way of adding an property to an object, right? So the same like that, how can I add? How can I add and like something like yeah, this one, like how can I add a property to this? This is not a property. Like how can we can add some blueprint property to here? How can I add that? So instead the same like that, if I use person, or if I simply say instead of like name, like I just want to say like a boolean value. So I say is like scorer like that, and I say true. I instead of that I just directly add like something like this. Okay, what happened now? If I say if I do something like this, and if you expect that this will be get valid, no, the valid we cannot add something like this. I just started to run this. Okay, so here instead of this, if I called for the entire object to display, okay, you can see it is not get added. Instead of that, if I go and inspect here in the console, you can notice this not get added. Okay, so it is not. The reason is we are not able to add an prototype. We can call that as a prototype only. But right now, I do not want to use that name. So we cannot add something like I cannot able, which is, so instead if I want to add that, I need to put it inside only. Like if I want to put this in an inside only, like this dot like this. Okay, so if I hardcorely add that, Okay, so now you can able to, if I run that code, you can able to get that. Okay, so you can see this dot coder is going to be a value, this is going to be the default value we are passing, so no problem with that. We can able to add that, but we simply like how object we added, we cannot able to do that. So how can we add a function to that? So how can we add that function to that we discuss that later. Like we have something to add, like prototype, we have some properties to add that, so we're going to discuss that later. So right now you need to understand, like we cannot add this extra property outside the declared function. Okay, so we cannot able to add that. Okay, so this is the one thing. And next thing, how can I declare and method to it? Like till now we have discussed only about the things like properties, how to declare a blueprint for a property. So we're going to see about how to add a method for it. Okay, okay, okay. So we're going to okay, so here, and another thing you need to notice, like, so here everything I'm passing a variable like a parameter value, but here you can give a default value, that is okay. Okay, so that is okay, there is no problem in that, you can able to give that. So right now we see like how can I declare and like a method in that. So what is meant by a method? So method is going to be the function. Okay, so function inside an object, that is considered as a method. So in JavaScript we have methods and properties for everything. Okay, so that is what I just going to do. I just say this dot, if someone calls, going to represent the substitute of it. Someone calls that this dot name, and I need to return both the thing, like full name plus the first name and name. So here I just going to say return this function. Okay, so that has a parenthesis, and here I can say you need to return, like I just going to use the template literals. Here I can use the same this, like you can use the thing to fetch this dot first thing. Okay, so everything said that this is going to have an and substitute value, that is to be representing the new object that is we called. Okay, so this dot first name, and here again I'm just give a space and I just add the this dot last name, this dot last name, this dot last name. Here I'm also making a typo. Okay, I just want to add this. Okay, so right now if I run this, you can notice that a method is created inside that. Okay, so we access it, like it throws me an error, where it's throwing me an error in okay, 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 it shows me missing semicolon. Okay, just a minute, instead of using the template literal. Okay, so if I say dot this dot first name, yeah, this dot first name, like it is not a variable, like we can able to access it directly. And I say this dot last name, this dot last name, like this. We can use this dot first name, something like this. So if I run this, you can get one. And how can I use this method? If I say person dot, this is going to be the method, and instead of person I just give person one, and here I just go for the p. Okay, so I clear it, I run it, you can see that thing has been explained. So if I want to the gap like this and give it. Okay, so you can really use this thing. Okay, so you can use that, and this is how you need to add a method to it. Okay, so this is a way of method to that. And also if you want to add if you want to pass a parameter, you can also pass a parameter to it. Like for example, here you can if you want to pass any parameter, you can pass it, and you can get that parameter inside it. For example, here we can say like agra, like, okay, so this is going to be, I just going to represent a place, and here I just say like instead of that, and I just going to use that tag. Okay, so like that, and here we can pause, it's going to be a place, something like that. We can pass a parameter to it. Okay, so the same like function how we are working, the same like that we can able to pause that. Okay, so if I run this, you can see we are passing a parameter right now, it is getting here and we are using inside it. Okay, so this is all about using like constructor function. So how will be the certificate provided? Yeah, the certificate is provided based, like if you fill all the 4 forms, like the 2 forms already sent for the previous workshop, and today the certificate will be provided and it will be sent through your email. Okay, so we get your all your details, and from your details we will send the certificate. Okay, so no problem with that. And Ram, hello everyone. Okay, okay, that's it. Okay, so this is how you need to create a function and that, and manually you can add it, like if you want to add that, see that in the tomorrow class, like prototypes and all, and we're going to work that. Okay, so what is this actually, what is this is like a prototype. We are creating an object, so by using that, if values here, it is automatically creating it for me, right? So that is what happening when you are working with the string, when you are working with the manual creation object. There is another prototype, the default JavaScript prototype is that, and by using the prototype only we're creating everything. Okay, so that is the main reason here. Okay, so right now we going to, this is all about creating a property, and this is creating a method in it. Like if you want to console log it, you can check it. I can say console.log, and here we can log for a person one or any person you want. Okay, so any object that you want to create, just click that inspect, go for the console we have, and we have, where is that, clear everything. Okay, so the person one is going to have everything. Come down, yeah, here you can see. So here it is that constructor function, it's created everything. So it's going to, the person one is going to have the age, email and everything, and here you can notice that a function is created. There is going to be the prototype function, and you can notice that the function how it is created, right? So inside that you can see a prototype, like this is going to be an, like this is, we are creating an object, and that it's going to be an object only in JavaScript. You can see like these all other methods available, and these are the prototype, that most default prototype available in JavaScript. Oh, sorry for that. Okay, sorry for the available prototype we are available, and then we discuss about the prototype in the later on classes. Okay, so we surely going to discuss that. Okay, so just a minute, I think my audio is clear, right? Okay, fine. Okay, so the next what we're going to see, we're just going to see about this keyword, very important topic that we need to discuss. Okay, so that is what we're going to know. Okay, so what is this keyword, like where the place we go, like this keyword is changed, right? So this keyword, sometime it represent object, sometime it represent something. So what is doing that, that is what we're going to see. Okay, we just remove everything and we clear out of, and here to see about this keyword. So this is what we're going to see now. Okay, so what is this keyword is going to do, like I just give some hint and we go on for the examples and we can work on that. Like example, when we declared this keyword globally, then it's going to refer to an global object. For example, let x is equal to this. Okay, so what it's going to refer means, it's going to refer the global object. For example, how can I say, I just say console.log, and I say x, just assign a variable and I just put inside the keyword inside it, and right now you just go inside and inspect the console. You can notice that right, you can notice that the windows, so this window is going to be the global one. Okay, so what methods, whatever the property we are using in JavaScript, that everything is going to be it. Okay, like you can see an alert method is here, and whatever the thing you are essentially needed, like everything that we are learning right now, that is going to be here. like you can see it in it is rendered everything. Okay, like all method, like on drag, on event, there is all the event property that we have. And also like, so you see the, this is going to be the entire Windows object. This is going to represent the entire Windows object. That is what this represents. So we can call this as global. Okay, so this is going to represent the global object. So if I say this dot something, then it is going to be accessing the JavaScript. Okay, it is going to be like something we are accessing a JavaScript. That's why it is called. For example, if simply say this dot alert, you can say, so this dot alert, what it's going to do, it's going to give me an alert for me. Like if I say hi like that, and if I say run it, you can see what it's doing, like what the JavaScript is doing, JavaScript, and it will be gives and work for us, right? The same, like this is nothing but it is going to be at something that all the functionality that has in the JavaScript, it is rendering, and we can able to access it. Okay, for example, how can we do that? Mean we just remove that, I just clear it. So normally if I say, so normally we are calling alert function, normal function, like that. But what is the prefix of it? Means window. Okay, so window is going to be the prefix of it. So this window is going to be a huge object. That is what we have discussed in the console. Like in the window, we have seen that window, right? So if I type for the window, okay, so this is going to be an object. That object contains everything. Like that object contains everything. So inside only we have alert, inside only we have blur, inside only we have set interval, like you can see clear interval, clear timeout, set interval, set timeout, focus, and we have that working with the here only. Here we are working with some of jQuery, like here is the local storage, whatever the default thing we are accessing, that is Windows. Okay, so normally how we call that means that is going to be an object. So everything that inside is going to be a property and a method. So if I want to access it, I need to give a dot, and I need to say alert. So this alert, it's going to be a method for this Windows object. Okay, so this Windows is going to be the global object that control everything. If I call that alert, means it will be work fine, like hello. Okay, something like this. If I run, you can see hello will be there. Okay, so this is going to be the global object. So that is why we are not using window. Okay, so we simply call alert and we will running that. So it will actually understand, okay, so you are like fetching this something that from the Windows object. Okay, so I will understand like that. So that's why it will be displayed, right? So but the like we are using the window. Okay, so why I'm saying this, like if we declared this keyword in a global variable, like in outside a function or in anything, like we declare it in globally, then it's going to what this is going to represent. This is always going to represent, okay, this always represent something. Okay, it doesn't have any meaning, so it is going to be a substitute for something. Okay, so when I declared it in a global variable, like that x is equal to this, so what is this is going to be that this is going to be the substitute of the global variable. So here that this representing the global variable, like not like we can say the global object, not variable, like going to be global object, the window object. Okay, so the same like that, if you declared it inside a function. Okay, so for example, if I screen a function and I say like glow, and here if I declared that return this. Okay, if I say return this, then you can say like console.log glow. Okay, and something like this, run this. Now also it's going to return what? The same global object. Okay, so here the thing is, notice that when you declare it in globally and you use this keyword inside a function, and these two things, it's going to be represent the global object. So you declare the function that is going to represent a global object. Okay, so these two things you need to mind. Okay, so why I'm saying that this function is going to be very important, because it is going to be changed in later use case, and also in arrow function we're going to discuss that. Okay, so we see about how the substitute, this represent two things. One, when I declared it globally, it represents the global object. When I declare a function, it represents the what, it represents that global object only. So right now I'm going to create an object. Okay, so let's see, I just say const obj equal to, here I just say person. Okay, here I just simply say person, and here I just equal to cowboy. So here I'm creating a sorry, again a syntax. Okay, so here I just going to create an detail. This is going to be in another object, and here I creating a function. So this is going to be a method. Okay, so inside that I'm saying return this. Okay, so I'm simply saying return this. So now let's see. So till now you have seen, like, if I declare that this variable in a global, it is going to represent the global object. If I declare it in a function, now also it is going to represent the global object. But if I declare it in, right now I'm using declare, right now it is an object, and also it is in function only, right? So you can think like it is in a function, so it is going to represent the global object, right? So if I just go for inspect and come here, before going for inspect, we go for console.log, and here I can say obj.detail, and if I call that and I just run this, here you can notice that it is what it represents. Like, go for the console, it is representing not the Windows object, which means the global object. Instead of that, it representing the object that belongs to. Okay, so it represents the object that belongs to. Like how it is, like you can consider this is going to be an function, but make sure that here an object inside of this. Okay, so we are using an object, and inside we are using this, means that this keyword going to represent the owner of it. So who is being the owner? This obj is going to be the owner. So this is going to represent the obj. So if I say this dot person, if I say this dot person, then what I'm saying, then this is a substitute for this obj, the owner of it. So obj dot person, so it's going to return obj dot person. What is the obj dot person has? It is going to be written the cowboy. So if I run this, you can see cowboy. Okay, so this is how it functions when we are working with the classes, when you are working with the function constructor. So we are using this, it is representing, so it is come inside, we are using the this keyword, it is representing that object. Okay, so this keyword inside an object, it is going to represent that object. I think make you are clear with that concept, right? So two things, when you are declare it in global, it is going to represent the global variable. When you declare it within a function, now also it is going to represent in a global variable. When you declare it with the this inside an object, then this keyword is going to represent the object. Okay, so that particular object it belongs to. Okay, so if we created an object and you are using another object, then again this keyword is going to represent that particular object where it belongs to. Okay, so this is then another thing. Okay, so three things we have declared, and then we going to see, like, I think you don't see about the strict mode. There is something called a strict mode. We use the syntax, we just focus on more on the syntax and structure of the JavaScript. So for that we use the, so that this keyword is not allowed in the strict mode. Right now, just understand. So this strict keyword is like an this strict keyword is like an thing that we use. That means we need to stick with the traditional JavaScript. Okay, so we need to stick with the traditional JavaScript. We are not able to work with some of the other functionality and all. So in that cases, I use this cases, it is going to be an undefined for me. Okay, right now don't confuse with that. So right now you just can work with this global and this object. Okay, so the next what we're going to do, we're just going to work with the event. If I just add this inside an event, then what it's going to be, like for example, here I add a button. Okay, this is the first time I'm working HTML in JS bin. Okay, so here I just add a button. Okay, here I'm just adding a button, and here I just use someone click this button, so this is going to be the event of that. If someone clicks this button, you need to return this. Okay, so what we can do, we can go for the output. So here we can go and say like click clear. Okay, so it is not going to work because I'm just going to work on the code right now. I just checking. Okay, fine. Okay, so here I just say if someone clicks on the button in the console.log, you need to queue this queue. Okay, so that is it. I just want to clear this. If someone clicks, okay, so I just want to pause this in a callback. Okay, where I'm pausing it, just a minute. Console.log this. Let's get stuck. Just a minute. Okay, so we clear this all. Okay, so we clear that. Like we work with the event. Okay, so what we can say, someone clicks. Okay, so it is sending me JavaScript, so I just going to pause this JavaScript. Okay, so here we clear it out, and here if I say like if someone, okay, so I just call the function here. Okay, if someone clicks this, what I need to do, you need to say console.log, and if I say this, okay, so if I click this, what it is returning, it is returning me that particular element that so here this represent the element it belongs to, that is going to be that button it is going to belong to. For example, how can I can just use a simple DOM attribute that I can use. Like for example, I can say this dot remove. If someone clicks this, you need to remove something, that is going to be this. So if I click this, you can see the button get removed. How it is get removed? Because that this representing right now it is in an event handler, so this representing that element it belongs to. Like for example, if I going to have, I just copy this. Okay, so if I have JS bin, please work. Okay, yeah, if I going to have this, I just copy and I just paste it here, and here instead of remove I just say this dot style dot background color equal to red, and we remove this one like this. Okay, so I have two buttons. So the first button is going to have, okay, we need to give a single quote here. Okay, the first button is going to have remove thing, and the second button is going to change it in red color. So here we are using this, we are not saying like which element we are fetching, we are using this. So what I say in an event handler, that this represents to the element that it belongs to. So here this represent to this element, and here this represent to this element. So if you click this, you can see actually the first one I clicked, it's changed. So only the second one is there. If I click this, why it's not changing? Background, I think the spelling I made a mistake. Background color, I think. If I click the second one, you can see the second one is changed to red, click that, it will get removed, because I made to remove that, and I just want a background color to be a red. Okay, so four things here you need to work. This four things is fine enough when you are working with the this keyword. Like when you are working with the that's it, close here, close. Yeah, so when you are working with this, these four things is more than enough. What are the four things? Like this in a global, when you declare it in global, then this represent the global thing. When you declare it in a function, it is going to represent to that global thing only. Like when you declare the function inside an object, then it's going to be a method, so then that this represent that object it belongs to. And when you declared at this keyword in an event listener, then it's going to represent a what? Hi Anil. So it is going to represent that element it belongs to. Even if you use add event listener or any event listener, right now I use on click method, right now I use the on click method. So instead of on click method, if you are using an event handler and all, and you are just giving this, then it's going to fetch that, it is going to represent that particular element. Okay, so you can use that. Okay, so this is also pretty handy when you work with the DOM like that. Okay, so you can use that. Okay, so the next thing is about this it's we have so much of things. Like we can work with the functional bind. We have three methods that is going to be very helpful when you are working with the call, apply, and bind. And that topic is not covering here. Like we are fully focusing on the topic that we promised to cover. Okay, fine. And this is all about this keyword. So this is all about, you need to know about that this keyword. Okay, so the next what we're going to see, we're just going to work with the immediate evoking function. Okay, so what is going to be immediate evoking function? Immediate evoking, like just a minute, I take my connection. So yeah, okay, so what is going to be the immediate evoking function? So that function is itself, it's called like, for example, if I function and I give a name and I just pause something like unrolled log, something like that, and I just pause something and I just give a string inside that, and I just want to run that string like that. And this is going to be a function, and if you run the function, what I need to do, I just need to call that function, then the function get runs when we click that or when we do some events. But immediate evoking function or functions that execute themselves when the page gets reloaded. Okay, so that is an easy way of declaring immediate evoking function. Like you need to wrap this with parentheses, and inside that parenthesis you need to declare a function. Okay, so I just declared a function. Okay, it's going to be the name, and here we're going to see about this, and here we can say a console.log, and here we can say like hello. And after ending that function, you need to evoke that. Okay, you need to evoke that. So this is going to say that this is going to be declared, and this is going to be the function that is going to be evoked. Okay, so if I clear and if I run that, you can notice that the function get evoked even though I don't call this name. And you people think like, what is the use case of this evoking function and all? Like what is the use case of it? Like if you want to declare a variable that is want to be in a global variable, sometimes if you want to installing a modules like two modules, that two modules is going to handle the both things in a same both have the same identifier like that. In that case, you need to declare a global variable. You can use that, and that it has some of the so many use cases. Come to the topic, that immediate evoking functions are the functions that they call themselves, like they will execute themselves, and we can use this immediate evoking function whenever we want to in a function that they need to call themselves. Okay, so that is what this. Okay, so these all are the topics that we are right now working with. Okay, so that's it. And what are the topics that still left is prototypes. Okay, so the prototypes are something that related to the functions properties that we have lately discussed. we can use the prototype property to that change something, the prototype of a function. Okay, for example, I just give a introduction to here, but also I'm just, because I have time, so tomorrow also we're going to see that prototype a little bit deeper. For example, just consider function, and inside that the function I'm doing a constructor, like what we have discussed. Like I'm doing a constructor and we have a name and age, two things, and this is going to be the thing. And here I can say like this dot name. If someone calls the name, you just want to pass the name you are fetching, and if someone calls this dot age, and you need to pass the age you are fetching. Okay, so these are the two things. Okay, so what is this actually? So this is something, a prototype, right? So this is something, a prototype. So by using this, blueprint is nothing but a prototype, right? Prototype is what? It's like how that created, like if I say const for one equal to new dot person. So what I'm doing, I'm using this thing, and I'm creating an object. I'm using this method, I'm using this constructor method, I'm creating an object, right? So if I give the name, so if I give the name and I just give the value to it, and if I just like, we need to console log it, console.log, and I can say per one. Okay, so if I run this, you can see the object is created. I'm working with function, the object is created, right? So the reason is how we created it in a single line, but how it is created it in a object syntax, because we are using this, right? By using this only we are creating that. So this is going to be the prototype of it. So we are creating a prototype by using this. So that is how, like if you are creating an object, if you are creating a string, if you are creating a number, the JavaScript itself can understand like it is going to be a string, it's going to be a number, it is going to be an object based upon what you are typing. How? Because the program is already built. That is going to be the prototype of it. So that is what I already said. Like if you want to add something inside the prototype, so this is a prototype. Later on I say blueprint. That is also correct. Like this is going to be a prototype. Like how can I say, like if I want to add something into a prototype, I'm not able to say like how we add something into a normal object. We are not able to say something like that, like person dot, you need to add the experience to 22. How can I, if it is possible I can add it? No, not possible. You can see it will not possible and it will not execute. So instead of that also, if I pause the person, you can see if I clear it, if I run that, you can see only we have this dot name and only we have this dot age. So it is doesn't, whatever the thing we are added, it is not working. So the object way of creating it is not working. So then how can I add that? So we have something called as prototype property. So that type property is something that helps us to add something into the prototype. Yeah, like for example, this person is going to be a prototype, and instead of using something this, we can say person dot prototype. Okay, so this is a prototype, and how, by using a prototype that is defaultly available in the JavaScript. Okay, so this prototype we are using, we say prototype. So prototype dot expire, and if I run this, you can notice nothing here. But if I go for the console and inspect, and I just go for here, like pro just a minute, prototype. Okay, so how can we check this? How can we check like and how it is added? We can call it and we can check it. Like how can we call that? Instead of this, we can say person like per one dot expire. Okay, expire. This is what we added, right? Expire. And if I run this, you can see 22 is here. How it has come? Because it is added to the prototype of this. Okay, so this is get added to the prototype of it. So right now if I call the person, it just simply returns me that person one, but it's working, right? So if I uncomment of this, if I comment of this and if I run this, it's going to say me undefined, because that thing is not inside that thing is not inside that. Even if I remove this property prototype and I just something all like that, it is going to be still, because this is not going to be work. We are not able to add that in a class or something. But we have something called as prototype property, proto oops okay, prototype. So what this is going to be do, so this is going to be we going to have a prototype, and this is going to be add inside the prototype. This experience is going to add inside that. Okay, okay, so that is how it is work. And if you log something, like if I say person one, if I run this, you can see that we can able to see that prototype. If I go here, the person is here, you can see only age and name is, but why? Because that is the first level of prototype we have, where I added that. So I added that in this prototype. So like this object is created by using this, but this is created by using that something else inside that JavaScript, right? So we have a prototype. So we click that, you can see that values added into that. Okay, so that is how, if I call for the experience, here it is not there, but it will inside the defaultly. For example, you have a function in the like I can say let str equal to and something like this one. Okay, so going to be a string, and I can create a default function for this string. I can able to create it. Okay, so that is going to be my function. But a string has its own function, like two uppercase, two lowercase. That is going to be the prototype that is available in the JavaScript, right? Okay, the same like that. So this object is created by the prototype I created, right? This is the prototype I created, but JavaScript itself have a prototype. Okay, so to create those prototype. Okay, so that is what prototype itself. Like we're going to discuss it. Or if you don't understand, don't worry. Like we're going to discuss it tomorrow also. Like we get a clear picture there. And I highly suggested let's have a look into it. Okay, so if you don't understand, that is not a problem here. We're going to do that too. Okay, so that's it. That's it for today. Like we can undertype property and all very soon. Okay, so yeah, so if you have any doubts, you can ask now. Okay, so and we can able to look into that also. Okay, so right now, what are the topic we have discussed? Like we have, I think the form has been shared. If you like to fill that form, if you are regular here, just fill that form to get a certificate. It will be a motivation for you and all. And we are available in LinkedIn. If you have any doubts, you can ask, but don't come with a code. Just debug. Ask me to debug. That is not possible. Okay, so if you have any like a bit of doubt, career guidance like that, you can just ask here. We will be there to help you. Okay, and if you really like the contents and the content of both, then just give a like and subscribe. Like we are going so huge, your supports and your motivation is required for us. I just highly recommend that. If you really love it, you can do that. Okay, so right, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Like we have only around 3 more minutes is there, we can discuss that. Okay, so we have covered everything, like most of the advanced concept we have covered. So tomorrow what we going to cover means we're going to see about the prototype. Like mostly we have covered the prototype, but we discuss again, and we discuss about the hoisting, like hoisting in JavaScript, a word with a lot of confusion. Okay, so we can discuss that, and also closures, like a pretty advanced functions closures that we have discussed. Okay, so if you have time, we have discussed about some of the ES10 concept also. Like I think we been really quick. We have completed so much of advanced concept in the previous day itself. Okay, so if you have time, like we go for some of the advanced concepts like closures, and we work with curring functions, and we work with the compose function. Maybe if we have time, we can work with. And also we think like naming conflict, null coalescing, ternary operators. That's all. Whatever the ES10 concept we are here, like we can see that most of the common concept that we're going to see tomorrow. Okay, so if you have time, we see that. But as promised, every topic should be covered. Okay, sure that. So if you have doubt, you can ask here. Okay. Okay, so I think that no doubts, fine. So okay, so if you have any further doubts in the future, like you can connect us within the LinkedIn, and please make sure like you are giving like and subscribe for those channels. Bye guys, see you in the next live classes for tomorrow. Okay, see you guys.